Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yameen of Revolution, Free Karmelo. We ready for whatever, and we all we got. But before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Well, I just seen a video I'll be reporting on later. I told you every day I'm going to tell about the calamities of the U.S. Young, bigoted white guy goes into his house, kills everybody. Like I told y'all they was going to do. We need to see this on the news. They need to be upset about this. Young white boy went in his house and killed everybody. His mother, his father, his brother's girlfriend. A lot of that is going to be happening. They need to pay attention to the signs. They are under a plague of curses. Until they let the Most High's people go. Let's get right into the content. I just want to report on that. We're not going to look at that story till later. I'm going to report on that, but I just want to let y'all know the horror that I told them was going to happen is happening to their ass. Planes falling out the sky left and right. So many of them dying because they got hate in their heart and they got hateful things to say about Karmelo. They are reaping exactly what they sow.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. You know, Brother Tariq has often talked about what he calls the smart, dumb Negro, and while that may seem like a contradiction in terms, when you look at how a lot of black folks choose to operate in the world, you see that it's true. You see, cowardice comes in many forms. It comes in physical cowardice, but it also comes in the form of intellectual cowardice. And with the smart, dumb Negro, you get an odd combination of the two. Smart, dumb Negroes tend to come in a couple of different varieties, the first being the most obvious, the street dude who can barely string together a coherent sentence and talks like a reform school dropout. He's a dummy desperately trying to sound smart, but he's not fooling anyone. The second type, however, of smart, dumb Negro is actually much more insidious, and truth be told, more prevalent than the monosyllabic type. This one might have actually finished middle school, and in some rare cases, they might actually pretend to have something resembling an education. That tends to fool a lot of people, but it shouldn't. Here's one way to know if you're dealing with a certified smart, dumb Negro. If you ever hear some moron say the words, "I don't believe in white supremacy," you've run into a bona fide idiot. White power understands the reality of how it gained control of the world and how it intends to keep it. When some white person runs around saying, "I don't believe in guns," you better believe that that white Second Amendment type is going to tell their fellow white person, "You better believe in guns because bullets believe in you." They know the difference between what you like to believe and what actually exists. There's an old saying that reality is that which refuses to go away when you close your eyes. The smart, dumb Negroes have lived with their heads in the sand their entire lives, and because of the fact that we're in an age where not so many of them have got knocked upside the head, they tend to believe that their gibberish somehow is valid. These sorry, pathetic morons talking that "I don't believe in white supremacy" crap, these are the same ones who will also say white isn't supreme over me. Those tend to be the two talking points they use the most. Again, this is an idiot trying to live in their dream world. Nobody said that white is better than black, stupid. Our existence and resistance and struggle stands testament to that fact. But the truth is, the entire reason we've had to be so resilient and had to struggle for so long is precisely because white power has far more power than we do. That is what the anti-black racism we face is based on, an artificial but ruthlessly enforced imbalance of power. But some Negroes smoke some weed, and it's usually the potheads who talk this stupidity, or some moron who thinks that he has a particular business, or worse, a degree, and they think that this somehow means that they're so above it. Paul Mooney talked about that. The smart, dumb Negroes who, when it comes to racism, they just insist that they're just so above it. These are moral cowards. They're trying to pretend that they're in control of a situation when clearly they're not. What they're doing is a pathetic coping mechanism, and it's one that gets people killed when you're under a system of violent repression. This is where the whole respectability politics thing comes from, too. Negroes trying to imagine that they live in a different world than the one they actually are in. And they're all over the place. First, they'll say, "I don't believe in white supremacy," but if you ask them, "Does white supremacy exist?" then all of a sudden they're not sure. And then they'll start stuttering and stumbling and bumbling and going, well, I'm talking about myself. Well, the problem is you don't live in this world by yourself. And the system of white supremacy that we're under, it doesn't exist only with one person. It is global. These same individuals, when asked whether or not they believe racism exists, do they believe in that? They'll say, oh, yeah, I believe that racism exists. Yes, but do you understand that racism is not just something that exists in a vacuum? Individuals like this are useless when it comes to Black empowerment. They shouldn't open their mouths about it at all. When people are in the streets protesting injustice, these same individuals will simultaneously pay lip service to those protesters and say that they've basically got a point, while at the same time denying the very evil social order that they're fighting against. So let me make this clear to the worthless, smart, dumb Negroes out there. White people are not supreme in value over Black people, and nobody except the white supremacists have ever said that. The problem you need to stop being in denial about is that we live in a world that's governed by inherent human value. The world we live in doesn't recognize inherent human value because it's controlled by a satanic, demonic ideology of white supremacy. Now, if you're some brain-dead clown who needs for someone to officially roll back the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments before you're ready to finally admit to the pig-simple reality that you live under white supremacy, then you're too dumb to learn anything. A lot of smart, dumb Negroes are the kind who have convinced themselves that they've got some sort of in with white society. That's usually where it begins. Typically, these are individuals who are seeking interracial sexual access. Maybe they run a particular business that's dependent on white people for their revenue. They have certain associations with white society. Or perhaps their children got into this or that private school or this or that college or university. That's usually where this delusion stems from. When someone says something stupid like, I don't believe in white supremacy, that's a person whose brain has most likely never worked to begin with. It's simply a fact. Neely Fuller outlined 9 major arenas of human activity, and white supremacy controls them all. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. You know, children and the mentally impaired are supposed to be the only ones who actually try to live in a dream world. Magical thinking is usually reserved for people who are too young and immature to understand reality, or for those who are simply incapable of understanding it. But to have grown men talking like this is beyond ridiculous. And that's something else that I noticed. The main people who I've seen talking that stupid, I don't believe in white supremacy crap, are usually Black men. While I'm sure that some of you will say, well, I heard some Black females saying it too, let's not be contrary for contrariness' sake. The main ones who you see denying white supremacy's existence and denying that they live under it, saying, oh, white supremacy ain't supreme to me, is usually some Black male who's saying that. And that's because men in particular cannot stomach having to be under someone else's power. It attacks one's masculinity and their very being. That's understandable. But trying to wish it away isn't going to change it. Because when I hear some clown talking about white supremacy ain't supreme over me, I'm wondering, gee, when has this fool ever exercised power over white people at all, either as a group or as individuals? The only way that denying the existence of white supremacy can be valid is if you have power over those classified as white. When you're in a position to call shots over them, then you can say there's no white supremacy because it means you're in charge. This kind of asinine magical thinking only works if we have control over these white supremacists. When the police roll up on you, what power do you have over them? When the government brings a case against you, what power do you have over them? When some school tries to humiliate your Black child by forcibly cutting their hair or allowing racist teachers to be in the classrooms and allowing racist white classmates to attack your children and even kill them, what power do you have over them? When every TV show, movie, newspaper, and radio program are set up, produced, and presented to you by white power, and all of them glorify whiteness and denigrate Blackness, and they work in white power's interest, what power do you have over them? When the U.S. military sends troops to your town to crush some Black protest, what power do you have over that? When people in both major parties set national, state, and local policy, what power do you have over that? Can you even get a candidate of your choice elected to office or nominated to a federal judgeship outside of the structure white supremacy set up? What power do you have to change that? As we've seen with both the murder of Cyrus Belton and the railroading of Karmelo Anthony, when the lives of Black children are selectively snuffed out or their right to basic self-defense is punished by the state and a courtroom lynching occurs, What power do you have over that, Mr. I don't believe in white supremacy? Do you believe in anti-black racism, stupid? A better question would probably be, do you believe black empowerment exists? Because words actually have real concrete meanings. Because if you're silly enough to say that white supremacy doesn't exist, that there's not some sort of color-coded system of racialized power, then you would also probably believe that black empowerment doesn't exist either. It's just empowerment. Well, in that case, is the power in this world evenly distributed, more or less? Because if it is, then you can go ahead and talk some gibberish about white supremacy doesn't exist. But if we look at the balance of power, and we see that it is overwhelmingly in favor of those who are classified as white, and that they've set up their system to make sure that this racialized order is frozen in place and that you don't have the ability to change it, and they work all the time to make sure that you are deprived of any potential future chance of changing it, then what do you think you sound like denying that this system of racialized oppression is in place and whose benefit that it operates in? It's one thing to say, I am not inferior to a white person. And while it is true that you reject that social classification, it's also true that you live in a society that enforces it on you. It enforces it through economic, political, and physical violence. And you are not in a position where you can say, you know what, I'm not putting up with that. I'm going to have something else altogether in place. So far, I haven't seen any of these people who are running around claiming that white supremacy, I don't believe in the existence of white supremacy. I don't see any of them doing anything that's actually putting something in place to change it. Hell, they won't even admit that the problem exists. So no, Mr. White ain't supreme over me. The system of white supremacy is supreme over you because white power is in charge. We damn sure aren't. And you know, especially as black men, we do ourselves no favors by denying reality. You can't eliminate your problem until you first acknowledge that the problem exists and the scope of it. To deny white supremacy's existence is to act as if the fact that white power controls everything is just some sort of coincidence, when it's not. No group of people in human history ever freed themselves from a totalitarian regime by telling themselves lies like, well, that dictator, he ain't supreme over me. Too many black people in general and black men in specific try to sound smart while being plumb dumb. This is how we wind up with so many fools who try to claim that they're educated, and yet they talk like Oswald Bates. Morons trying to live in some alternate reality that only exists in their own heads. We can't afford fools like that. Show me someone who claims white supremacy doesn't exist, and I'll show you someone who's willing to say that racism doesn't exist either. Hell, I'll show you someone who says we are our own worst enemy. Well, they do have a point about that. The bootlick, the tether, and the fool who denies reality, they are our worst internal enemies. Nobody ever denied their way out of a bad situation. But do people who deny reality want to change it? Of course not. When you deny a problem exists, that also absolves you of the responsibility to have to confront the problem, much less to defeat it. And if you happen to be an intellectual or spiritual coward, yeah, that's exactly the stance you'd want to take. That way, you never have to fight the enemy. You never have to risk anything. Yeah, let those people who are in the streets, let them be the ones who are taking the risk. Let those people who are online raising hell about these issues, let them be the ones to put in the work. I'm just going to be so above it. I'm so above it. From the relative safety and comfort that was afforded to them by the very people who they're fighting against. Even at this late date, with white supremacy firmly on the march, you got people who are out here pretending that it doesn't even exist. You want to know why it is that chattel slavery lasted for so long, and why it is that the civil rights movement had such a hard time getting the support of the black masses? It's because there's too many Negroes out there who think that it's cute to sit there and try to aggrandize themselves by pretending that the problem doesn't exist. These idiots will sit there and say, well, white supremacy, it ain't supreme over me. Really? Are you supreme over it? Because in a world that is determined by the balance of power, one or the other is going to be true. White supremacy has 1,000 different ways that it can exert its control over you. Can you exert any control over it? Fools who talk that kind of gibberish, they think they can take refuge in some magical land of make-believe. They want to have one foot partially in the real world and the other foot in their own mouths. Good day and be one.
brother up.
Defense attorney Mark Garagos, former felony prosecutor Eric Faddis. Good to have you both, gentlemen. Thank you. First, Mark, did I basically lay it out right for people's understanding at home? You don't have a right to jury by people of your race, but people of your race can't be excluded on that basis from a jury either. What do you make of what is known in the law as a Batson challenge here, and why it was rejected by the judge and what it could mean on appeal?
Well, okay, you asked, the first question was, did you get it right? Don't get upset, but no, you didn't get it right. When the way you framed it, first of all, just in terms of what the argument was, one of the big battles was he going to get a voluntary manslaughter or a manslaughter instruction? They did get a manslaughter instruction. I think that just watching this from afar, and one of the problems with this case is that it was being reported and being filtered by whoever's team you were rooting for and not being able to see it, is that people didn't understand. A complete self-defense was it reasonable? The middle ground is if it was an unreasonable use of force, but to some degree in reaction to a use of force, that would have put you into manslaughter territory. The reason that's important, Chris, is because to the challenges, the peremptory challenges that were used by the prosecution, this case was over in jury selection, as most cases are. When you don't have any black jurors, and mind you, you had people of color, but no black jurors in this jury, that was over. This kid was not going to get a fair trial.
That is it. This is not Perry Mason. This is not L.A. Law. This is not the Lincoln lawyer. In reality, cases are not won in the closing arguments. Cases are won in the jury selection. This case was over when they selected that jury. The case was decided with the jury. When they put no black people on that jury, family, America is more racist than you know. America is a lot more racist than you give it credit for. Good white people, if you watch it, America is a lot more racist than you give it credit for. Black people, America is a lot more racist than you give it credit for. You underestimate at least 50% of the racism, even if you're like, man, I see racism. No, it's the racism you don't see.
Of color, but no black jurors in this jury, that was over. This kid was not going to get a fair trial. One of the things, I've been doing this for 43 years. Jury selection determines everything in a criminal case, number one. Number two, the reason the jury selection informs every case in every community, in every courtroom, is because you are the product of your upbringing by the way you view things. And you're never going to convince, I don't care what kind of an orator you are, how persuasive you are, you're not going to be able to impart your lived experience onto 12 people and somehow get them to understand a 17-year-old black kid who's sitting there with two people who are hulking over him and who shoved first and what degree of force he's supposed to use. A black juror may have understood that in a way that a white juror won't. I know that's incendiary. I know that drives some people insane. But I invite any person, I invite anybody who's ever watched a criminal courtroom work to take a look and see what happens. And race informs everything. Why is a prosecutor, any prosecutor can come up with an excuse or a pretext to excuse any juror. You can say that their educational background. You can say they've got a first cousin twice removed who was arrested for something. You can always come up with that. Why are they entitled to a peremptory challenge at all? If they've got the burden of proof, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Why are they bouncing off black jurors when you know in the community that's just going to inflame the situation?
Why they do it? They knew it was going to be backlash. He knew people like me that were paying attention were going to call it out. I may not have known about the Boston Challenge beforehand, but I did my research and found out about it and realized that's what they did. You realize there were 600 people in this juror pool? You realize that? And there was one juror, one black man that said, hey, I don't feel good about putting a brother in jail. I don't feel good about locking a brother up. One guy said that. That's not all the black jurors. That's one black man. There were white women that said the same thing. There were white men that said the same thing. But people are easily manipulated because when they hear that a black man said that, they imagine in their mind that all black, because we know we all get credit for what everybody does when it's bad. When one person does something that people don't agree with, we all get blamed for that. A lot of people have been repeating that fallacy, that lie, as if the reason why there were no black jurors is because they all said they couldn't be unbiased. All over the internet, repeating bullshit. Repeating bullshit. There were white women that said, you seem like a good kid. I can't fit 99 years. I don't feel good about it. I can't do it. There were white men that said the same thing. Why is no one mentioning that? They only mentioned the one black guy who was honest and said, I don't feel good about this. Maybe he had a job. He didn't want to miss his job. There's a lot of reasons why people try to get out of jury duty.
On these facts, do you find that to be a shocks the conscience verdict?
No, I don't, actually. I think that on these facts with this jury, the murder conviction was preordained, frankly. I think it was a victory for the defense to get the manslaughter. But if you had had some black jurors on that jury, I would have prognosticated at that point that they may have landed as a compromise verdict at a manslaughter. There is a pretty compelling argument, but it's a much tougher argument because he did not get on the stand to testify, and that's a whole different decision by the defense. But the fact remains that given a jury that had no blacks on it with a black 17-year-old kid, and that was the end of that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember the Zimmerman case. You covered it. When that jury was selected in Florida and there were no blacks on that jury, I actually said that night on CNN that Mark O'Mara, the lead defense lawyer, would have to trip, fall, and hit his head to lose that case. And sure enough, Zimmerman was acquitted. So for anybody who says race doesn't inform these things, it's naive and it's beside the point.
No black jurors on the Zimmerman trial. That's part of the reason why Zimmerman walked, I believe. I think that's it. And a dead man tells no tales. He could just say, I was scared for my life. What else could I do? He wounded me, hit my head on the ground. I had to kill him. I had to. Had to save him. It was me or him. Cry a little bit. Black men are already demonized. Even black boys are demonized. They're seen as grown-ass men when they're not. They said Tamir Rice was a grown. They thought Tamir Rice was a grown man. He was 14. See, we got black people falling for it, and it's really bothering me because they appear to be wise in other ways. They seem to be learned. They seem to be intelligent, right? They think that a black juror would see favoritism. You don't understand racism at all. No, fool, they see a human being. We're all supposed to see human beings. There was nothing about Karmelo Anthony in his background to make you think he is this quote-unquote YN. There was not a damn thing in his background to make you believe that. Honors roll student, football team, track and field team. He even literally saved a life. He's literally been in the newspaper for risking his life saving other kids' lives who were drowning in a pool. Literally did that just a couple years ago. No record at all. He does not, there's no gang tattoos, nothing. Posed with a couple guns online. That's what kids do, depending on where you live at. That's all they got. Shit, they got pictures of Hunter and Austin with guns. It's different when black kids do it, don't it? Isn't it though? Different when they do it. I'm gonna tell you, man, I saw a couple black sisters on TikTok. I mean, it's very disappointing, fam. Very disappointing. I don't know who wounded you, what they did, and why they did it. I don't know. But that ain't got nothing to do with Karmelo Anthony. It's got nothing to do with my son or my daughters. That's your own shit. Go to a therapist. I know you think you standing on business, you look crazy. It's obvious you are torn up inside. Nah, they're not showing favoritism. It looks like favoritism. You know, when black people were trying to help other black people who were about to get whipped by Massa or Massa's henchmen, that wasn't bias. That was humanity. That was seeing them as a human. And to the white people, they were not human, so it appeared to be a betrayal of them for you to see black people as a human being. And it's the system that we have in this country. They would see white people that saw black people as humans as a betrayal too. They tar and feather white people that cared about black people. They would tar and feather other white people for giving a damn about black people. No, it's not bias. And see, the difference is when a white kid does something, they still see him as a human being. So the first part of the defense opening statement, they did their best to humanize Karmelo Anthony. And they say that he did a pretty good job of doing that. The lawyers did a pretty good job of doing that. Obviously, they didn't, because they saw a person that never committed any crimes before as an intentional murderer. An intentional murderer. Now, I'm telling you all of this, and now I see now that the coast is clear and this young black man has been sentenced to 35 years. Now I saw a couple Democrats coming out talking now. That's convenient. Good time for them. You know, I've been covering this case since 2025 when it took place. I guess it's nice for y'all to get around to talking about it. So we got to see things for what they are. Just know that there's media manipulation and everything. They got you believing that jury is all biased, black bias, black bad. No, without black people on your jury, think about all the cases that you know about where a person who did something to a black man, maybe a woman too, if they did not have a black person in the jury, the possibility of them getting that verdict at all, slim to none. Slim to none. Statistics show that when a black man comes in with the same charges as a white guy with similar backgrounds, black man gets harsher sentences. That's the jury. That's the jury, fam. These are statistics that are readily available for anyone to look up. They tell you black people get biased favoritism. That's bullshit. That's a lie. Stop believing lies. That's the furthest thing from the truth. You've been black your whole life. When have you ever gotten preferential treatment? When that ever happened? You think redlining was preferential treatment? They drew a line around our neighborhoods and said, don't lend money to people inside this circle. Then the Asians came and they said, lend money to them. And they could set up shop in this circle, but black people know. And our homes, when we were in them, they weren't worth shit. Once they gentrify and move us out, all of a sudden the property's worth a lot of money. Family, when has it ever been a benefit to be black in America? Cut the cap. No. Stop buying into the. So we're going to keep it moving, man. The media manipulation got you thinking that the black jurors are biased. No, it's not bias. It's seeing black people like white people see white people. That's the bias. And it looks like bias to people that see you as an animal, to people that see you as a gangster, to people that see you as a thug. And we know when they say, you ever hear white people call white people thugs? You never hear them say it. This is another word for black. America is a lot more racist than you give it credit for. They got you, they went around saying victimization. That's victim mentality. What? It's called numbers. These are numbers. These are the stats. Go look it up when you get time.
Catch Tim Black live.
We co-parented the whole time. Megan is an excellent mother.
You ready? Salute, soldier.
She took care of those boys. I showed them the man side of life. She showed them the other side.
I believe, based on a video live stream that Jeff Metcalf did, 3 hours, just him talking, that part of the reason why there was an issue between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf has to do with Dad. And I believe Dad is a racist. I believe Dad taught his son bad traits. And I believe that he's going to say it for me.
We co-parented the whole time. Megan is an excellent mother. She took care of those boys. I showed them the man side of life. She showed them the other side. We worked congruently together. Our boys were very well-rounded, very diversified. We don't see color. We're not racist.
Whenever I hear someone say they don't believe race matters or they don't see color, automatically I'm thinking this person's full of shit. And I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouth. Either they're delusional or they're putting one over on us, meaning they're lying.
We have friends of all diversities, nationality, ethnicities. It doesn't matter. I'm like God. God doesn't see color.
I also feel that Jeff's a bit of a narcissist. Yeah, I mean, I've said a lot of things in my life, but one of the things I've never said is, I'm like God.
God doesn't see color. Justice doesn't see color. Hate doesn't see color. Love doesn't see color. If you put on those glasses and you see color as an individual, you need to look in the mirror.
Throughout this live stream, Jeff's going to try his best to be like a politician. 1 minute, he's going to try to seem like he's a really noble guy. The next minute, he's going to be unhinged. The next minute, he's going to be incredibly racist. All the same guy. I don't think he's made his mind up about what fake persona he wants to occupy when he's in front of people.
Y'all think I'm a saint? I'm no saint. I'm as human as you. I have emotions. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't sin, because I don't walk on water and I don't turn into wine.
I like to find a person that believes that Jeff is a saint. Who is that person? And when can we kick them out of our country?
And anybody else can, step up. Don't become kicking rocks in my backyard. Look in your own. From day one, I said this was never about race.
Thank you.
Please don't make it about race and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both.
Everything in this country will be politicized. Anything that gets on the national radar as far as media is going to be politicized. And most of that will be racialized, ethnicized, monetized. This is the country that we live in. This is what happens to everything, from Trump being shot to your son's killing to homelessness to fentanyl crisis to anything under the sun. It will all be used by someone. Full disclosure, guys, as I watched Jeff Metcalf, I wanted to feel I wanted to go easy on him. I wanted to, but I couldn't because he's so glaringly what I believe is racist. But I wanted to see things through his point of view because we're in the same club. We're both fathers who lost a child. I lost my daughter December 14th, 2023. I understand grief. I understand the pain that doesn't go away. You be the judge.
The race card, black fatigue, it's real. I'm sorry. You have embarrassed your own culture and race.
Half of what he says is directly out of the racist playbook. No, if you wrote a story and you wanted to make the character racist, but delusional about their racism, you'd make a character just like Jeff Metcalf. You know what? I don't even think he's delusional. I think he knows. I think he wants us to think he's delusional.
Don't get me wrong. We got white people that embarrass the shit out of me too.
But do they embarrass their whole race? Because you just said black people embarrass their whole race. See, that's the difference. See, that's where the racism part comes in. When you attribute any big negative characteristics, not to just the individual who did it, but to all of those people that look like that person. That would be racism. You just displayed it clear as day.
Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for every fucking thing else. We're the bad ones. We're the one that held you down. Guess what? You can do everything in America that I can do. Tell me one thing you can't do that I can't do.
I can't defend myself against you without going to jail for 35 years. You can be the aggressor. You can put hands on me. I can tell you, hey, don't touch me. Hey, touch me again. And you'll flip it like I wanted you to. And then you'll send me to jail for 35 years, though I have no record of being violent, no record at all, no run-ins with the police at all. But still, somehow, I'm labeled as a premeditated murderer, an intentional murderer, because I responded to you. That's something you can't do. That's something I'd have to look far and long to find a white guy that got convicted like that. So, yeah. I think I'll stop at that example because that one's one we both can relate to.
We all have equal rights. What's it say? All men are created equal.
This guy's going to contradict his contradictions.
I've been disrespected by so many people, so many times while I've had to sit here and take it. I'm going to tell you right now, Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one.
So let me get this right. You're calling Karmelo Anthony a coward. Does that mean he didn't want to fight that day? That's probably what it means. Do you think it's possible that Austin Metcalf knew that Karmelo didn't want to fight? So what does that make Austin if he wants to fight someone who doesn't want to fight him? It goes both ways. If you're saying Karmelo was a coward, I'm pretty sure it was evident that he didn't want to fight if that's the case. What does that make Austin? And what does that make you, who raised Austin to be like that? Because you just said you didn't raise your kids to be cowards. See, you're saying everything while you're running your mouth here. Saying everything that needs to be said, and people pay attention to what you're saying. You just gave us your racist and your bad parenting playbook. That's what you did.
Let me make one up. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all were trying to portray. How about watermelon felon? How's that one strike you?
Nothing wrong at all using racial slurs at people. Perfectly fine. I wonder why people call him racist. And here's the thing. Jeff knows people think he's racist. He just doesn't believe that those people who think it have any brains. But he knows people think that. And that was before he did this video. This guy talked for 3 hours. He drops N-bombs and more. But he doesn't believe he's racist. He's just telling it like it is. Yeah, racist.
Now, some people will ask you, do you know Jeff Metcalf? Yeah. What do you think about him? He's an asshole. Or he's the greatest guy. He'll give you the shirt off his back.
Mm.
So they both can be right. Because I give what you get. Or what you give, or to me, I'll give it back. So am I racist? Yeah, I'm racist against assholes. I don't like them.
I don't think Jeff understands how words work. If you call yourself a racist, which you just did, you don't get to say, oh, I'm a good kind of racist. I'm the nice kind of racist. I'm the responsible kind of racist because I'm racist to everybody. No, if you're a white guy, you can't be racist to white people. Oh, I treat everybody with racism. What are you even talking about? Fam, do you understand the definition when you think one race is more superior than the other? So by that definition of what racism is, you can't say I treat everybody racist.
Jeff need to go see Austin.
I'm racist to everybody, people I don't like. That doesn't make sense. You don't make sense, Jeff. In doing this video, this 3-hour brain dump was a bad idea. But you'll get away with it. Why? Because America's racist.
I could care less about the color of your skin. We all bleed the same color.
Like a horrible politician, Jeff dips in and out of being racist to trying to be a good guy, an everyday guy, and then he goes right back into being that, or a complete total lunatic in redneck. Like, he doesn't know who he wants to pretend to be. I'm not playing. Watch this.
The mental capacity of others sometimes astonishes me.
I wonder what others Jeff is talking about when he says mental capacity. I wonder who these others are he's referring to. What do y'all think? Who's he referring to about mental capacity? I wonder if he's talking about white folks. I hope he elaborates.
At someone at a certain age, let's just say 40, 50, I would assume, and this is my fault for making assumptions, that you would have common sense. Perfect example, Charlie Kirk, a man who I admired, looked up to. You know why? Because he could fight with words and logic. He sat down and talked with you. Charlie was an expert. That's one person I admit I would not want to debate. He was a walking chat GPT.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
Crime, like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of
Charlie Kirk and Austin Metcalf, they looking up at us right now, wishing they wasn't bullies.
DEI,
Liars.
It begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified.
I know to a lot of black people especially, they don't see Charlie Kirk as this revered, admired guy. They see him as a guy who talked about racism and spread racist beliefs and ideology for several years. That's who Charlie Kirk was. But not to Jeff. To him, he's someone to admire, to ascend to want to be like. And if you listen to Jeff, he says a lot of things that Charlie says. Things that he believes. Because, hey, Jeff himself says, hey, man, this is an opportunity for me to tell you exactly what I believe. And that's what he does in this live stream. He lets you know who he is. No guessing, in his own words.
His convictions were solid. He was a good man.
Yeah, their black people had less brain power. That's who he was. That guy. Brain processing power. Yeah, he's a good man.
Taken too soon also.
Why doesn't Jeff drop us a couple of bars about the culture of the people that took Charlie? Because he'd be talking about his own culture, wouldn't he? His own ethnicity, wouldn't he? Wouldn't want to do that. Nah, wouldn't want to do that.
Some people called him racist. Some people call me racist. Does it make me racist?
Yeah, it does.
No.
In your case, it does make you racist, Jeff. In his too. Charlie's too. But we're talking about you right now. And yeah, it does make you racist. You know why, Jeff, it makes you racist? Because you prove that you are. You prove that you are. Several times in this live stream by things you said.
My grandfather once told me, what other people think of you, son, is none of your business.
Unless they're right.
Tonight, I'm going to allow myself to say what I really want to say. Because most of the time, I don't say what I want to say because it's not correct. Just because you think something doesn't mean you believe it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it a fact either. Because all you believed, Karmelo was innocent. Newsflash. Guilty. Prison. You were wrong. Admit it. But no, what do you do now? Oh, there was no black jurors. You know why? Because you can't be unbiased, you dumb shits. If you answer the question, I can't send a black man to jail because he's black, you're not getting on the jury. You're so unintelligent, you can't even fill out a form correctly.
Only one black juror was dismissed because he said he couldn't be unbiased. Or that he was biased and did not want to put a black man in jail. One. You know how many jurors there were, potential jurors there were? Almost 600. What about the 3 black women who were dismissed from the jury pool because of what? They were teachers. Meanwhile, the prosecutor had a teacher in his approved jury list, but she was white. Texas is very much known for being very racist, racially biased when it comes to juries. That's the history of Texas. But hey, you don't have to be right, like you said, to say things that don't make any damn sense and things that are incorrect. You can even believe them, but that don't make them true, Jeff.
You don't even know who your fucking daddy is because 78% of you don't have your father in the home anymore. You got baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all.
That wasn't racist at all. To assume that all of these
Revolutionary salute to our Queen Yaya's kids for the big donation she sent to me yesterday to the House of Revolution. I appreciate you. Help me keep the lights on. Salute, Queen.
These women who may or may not be married don't have men in their lives, fathers in the lives of their child. You know, sort of.
I have a big announcement to make. I am in contact with the Wallace unit where our brother Karmelo Anthony is on. As this live is going on, a brother whose brother is on Wallace unit is in front of my house as we speak, as I'm muted. Me and that brother's talking. His family is getting in contact with me. Revolution is a way of life. Karmelo gonna be straight. Real Texas niggas got this on lock. The Aryans in the Texas prison system are scared to death. Bootlickers is getting on cold. We the strongest down here, and while everybody talking about it, we got action going on right now.
Like you, Jeff. But no, when it's black, they gotta all be trying to get EBT cards. Did your wife get an EBT card? Because you weren't in the home.
Right now, his brother.
And this is why I say Jeff may also just be a bad person. Because he is. That and pretty dim. Or stupid. Yeah.
They talking about it. We smoking.
Megan is an excellent
dinner right now, going over revolutionary plans. You feel what I'm saying? That's a fact.
She took care of those boys. Your kids are bullies. You come, they divorced. It's a split parent home. I got news for you. We live 12 minutes apart. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Because they ain't only black people. White people do the same shit. I'll call them out just as hard as I'll call you out.
Why aren't you calling them out then, Jeff? Because you're racist, Jeff. You're racist and you know it. Because you know black people do things, white people do things. Asian people do things, Native American people do things. Everybody does things, right and wrong. But your fixation on black people is racist because it's only black people that you're sitting here ranting about. That'd be different if you just said Karmelo and just said Karmelo, 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 but you're not doing that, are you? You're going on a rant about black Americans. That makes this racist. Jeff's going to keep following that racist playbook.
Anybody who doesn't work, who wants free government handouts, who wants to live in a socialistic society, move to fucking Russia. This is America. Be respectful of this country. We have many people who have fought and died for this country so you can run your mouth. I didn't serve. I was not fortunate enough to. I wish, looking back in my life, I wish I would have. But at the time when I was that age, my life was not all together. But at the time,
I wonder I'm wondering, Jeff, what it was in your life back then that you couldn't go into the armed services. I wonder if you had run-ins with the law, or maybe you was on the drugs, because those are the only two reasons why I could think someone could not go into the armed services. You don't even have to have a high school diploma to go volunteer. So what was it that stopped you, Jeff? I wonder if you passed that on to your kids. I think you did. I think the attitude and the behavior exhibited by Austin has something to do with you in your racist playbook.
some people call me racist. Does it make me racist?
Yeah.
No. Charleston White, you look like a fucking crackhead. Even though you got money, you're the only smart person around. Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. Drew?
Hey, you said it, Jeff. Hey, he just called Charleston White an N-word. He caught himself, but he had already started it. And then he said, woohoo. I'm wondering why the right and all of these assholes who keep putting out content saying, Jeff, I like Jeff, and I go with Jeff, and Jeff's a smart guy, and Jeff's a good guy. I wonder why they're leaving out that Jeff is dropping N-bombs on his own live stream. He didn't even ask them to take that out. Because Jeff doesn't care. Because Jeff, as much as he complains about black people have privilege, he's very privileged. He's privileged enough to know he could call black people N-words, and his people won't say anything. Or a lot of his people won't say anything. They'll make excuses for him.
Some people call me racist. Does it make me racist? No. Charleston White, you look like a fucking crackhead. Even though you got money, you're the only smart person around. Hoo-hoo. Your character says it all. I don't have to say a damn word.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel doing this video, Jeff. I don't feel like I got to say a damn word. You're saying it all for me. Because these are your words. I'm just elevating the words you already spoketh out of your racist playbook.
Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges, more entitlement? Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I've been so oppressed. You couldn't even vote 1960. Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you.
Hey, look, I think I've proven my case here. Well, actually, I think Jeff proved his case. I mean, the things that he says are so obvious that this guy should be locked up for child abuse. I mean, I'm surprised Austin lasted as long as he did with a dad like that. The reason why Austin can be raised by such a dad with such bile coming out of his mouth, with horrible belief systems that he no doubt fed his child, is that we live in a society, they defend that nonsense. They defend that racist shit. You know, there were some morons that said, we'd love to see him run for governor, to which he responded he couldn't do that because he's got a lot of snakes or skeletons in his closet. Yeah, I'm sure you do. You know who didn't have any skeletons in their closet, Jeff? Karmelo Anthony. Hey, look, I never once said it was good that Austin Metcalf was killed. In fact, I've been on the record saying it was definitely a bad thing. My issue is I don't believe that Karmelo Anthony came there that day to do that. I believe that's what happened because he made a horrific mistake, but I believe that mistake never would have happened if Austin Metcalf would have just chilled out, kept his hands to himself. And I would see why he couldn't. Because he was being a bully. And he was raised to be a bully by a dad who was now bullying people online, making threats, dropping N-bombs, and showing exactly who he is. From his racist playbook. I'm Tim Black. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe to this channel and cut on all your notifications as we continue to expose the racist playbook.
By now, you have all heard the news that 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony was sentenced to 35 years after being convicted of first-degree murder of Austin Metcalf, who was 17 years old at the time in 2025 when they got into a very heated altercation at a track meet in Frisco, Texas. Now, of course, there was a big, giant racial divide where Black folks were hoping that he would be found not guilty. But once he was found not guilty, of course, we were hoping, okay, maybe they'll take it easy on him because the jury could have sentenced him anywhere between 5 and 99 years. But again, they chose 35. Now, it should be said that he can, try to parole out at the 50% mark of his time. But of course, an appeal will be filed. So hopefully he'll be successful with that. Now, on the white side, they were very happy. Some of them wanted him to, go past the 99 years and a whole bunch of other horrible things. But I saw a post from the Texas GOP, and this is what it said. A year ago, Karmelo Anthony murdered 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during a Frisco ISD track meet. This was a senseless and heartbreaking tragedy that shook Texans across our state. While I am glad to hear that Karmelo Anthony has been convicted by a Collin County jury, no verdict can restore the life that was taken, nor can it fully ease the grief endured by Austin's twin brother Hunter, his family, friends, and classmates. We continue to mourn the loss of a young life taken far too soon. The jury's verdict affirms what Austin's family has known since the tragic day. Karmelo Anthony committed a brutal and unjustifiable act that stole the life of an innocent young man. I commend the jurors, prosecutors, law enforcement officers, and witnesses who fulfilled their duties in the pursuit of justice for Austin and his family. The Republican Party of Texas stands with the Metcalf family as they continue to carry the burden of this loss. We pray they take comfort in the promise of Scripture. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalms 34:18. And we further pray that God's presence, comfort, and peace remain with the Metcalf family and all those affected by this tragedy. May Austin's memory forever be a blessing, and may we continue working to build a state where every family can feel safe and secure. Again, that was the Texas GOP sending that notice and letter out to Austin's family. Again, RIP to him, and letting them know that they speak for Texans. I don't think they speak for all Texans, but that's to be expected, right? Republicans, especially in Texas, mostly white, and that's just how they get down. But I want to know, where is the Democratic Party's letter? Where is their letter in solidarity with Black folks, right? Because y'all know the Democrats always say, oh, we're the party of Black people and all these other things, and they're silent. In fact, they haven't said a word about that. Now, if you've been following the case, Many of us believe that Karmelo was railroaded and that he was acting in self-defense. But see, even with the GOP and their, recollection of things, they standing on business about, oh yeah, we're glad that he's, put away and this, that, and the other. And didn't mention the fact that Austin went up to Karmelo and was bullying him along with his twin brother, Hunter. They left all of that out, right? They didn't add in that, oh yeah, he should have been minding his business. And for the Texans out there, let this be a lesson to keep your hands off of Black people, right? And that you do not own Black people. But back to the Democratic Party. Where is your letter? Where is anybody to say anything about this? You hear Black folks, crying out and saying this is an injustice. But see, y'all don't care about Black folks. You only care about illegal immigration and a whole host of other things that have nothing to do with us. But I tell y'all what, had that been an illegal immigrant that happened to all of them and their mama and Obama would have came out and had something to say. But when it's Black people, they are silent. While the GOP is running around praising, putting the boy away for 35 years, again, on a self-defense claim, which most people, somebody with some sense would say, yeah, that was self-defense because we're in the stand your ground state, right? That's what Texas is. But we also know had it been the other way around, Karmelo, if he was white, it wouldn't have been a thing. He wouldn't have even been charged. If it was Austin, but we know what we're dealing with. We're not surprised. And I'm not surprised that the Democrats shut mouth about this, but wow, I know they've seen the statement. And to this point, I haven't seen them say anything. And I'm not going to hold my breath because they're not, right? So Black folks, while they're telling you to, do this and do that and feel this and feel that and boycott this and boycott that, stand on business about that. You see what they not standing on business on. And that's putting away a child that was defending himself for 35 years as the GOP running around praising the verdict. Shame on it all. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetria K Show here on
And some of y'all get scared because see, the white supremacists, they do psychological mind tricks. They do a lot of mind tricks and they do a lot of race war talk. Listen, they always say shit like, well, you guys better not do anything because boy, you guys don't want a race war from us. I saw a video of some white man talking about how Black Americans, if they wanted to get down on us, the white society can do all this. They've been training in the woods and
ain't gonna do shit but bluff and try to catch us slipping. Once again, I'm here to report I'm with a brother right now. We smoking that good dinner, putting plans together. His brother is on the Wallace unit with Karmelo. The word is getting out. The white supremacists scared to death. Just like when James Byrd got drugged in Jasper, they got beat in the Texas prisons. They were so scared. Texas prison stories, Tim Snow wanted me to remind y'all of that they got beat in prison behind. Anytime the streets go into the Texas prison system and it's got to do something with Black and white, they ass in trouble. They don't got no benches. We put them on the motherfucking floor. They on bunk restriction. They can't watch TV. It's going to be bad for them. All these racists out here woofing and selling these wolf tickets, they loved ones is in trouble in that prison right now, bro. That's a fact. Right now, they're in trouble, bro. And they all just waiting on the word on when money can be sent to their canteen. I got to deal with Wallace unit first. Wherever they send Karmelo, I'm going to have a team that ready to support that brother. They playing games. We're not playing. They playing. We mean business.
Y'all seen this video? It's been circulating around for a minute. This white man talking about all the stuff that they can do and all the training that they've been doing and all that old stuff. Man, you ain't scaring nobody. We're already in a war. I call it the war of Western white supremacy. We're already in a war. We've been in a war with you for the last 400 years. We're already in a war. It is the war of Western white supremacy.
You understand?
No. You see, I just blocked this blackface Ku Klux Klan member right here. But you see, people who don't know Cuff Figure, I can't stand gangs. They blackface Ku Klux Klan members, but everybody know my story. Know my brothers created an original hood, Darkside Paru. I don't bang no more. I was the leader of one of the leaders of the Bloods in the streets and in prison, bro. I don't have to tell my story here, little nigga. We going against gangs. We uniting in prison, bro. Get your bitch ass up off my channel forevermore. Nigga, I'm the truth. Nigga, could never be fake. Fuck a gang, nigga. This coming from the ex-leader of that shit. Fucking fraud.
It's been a nonstop 400-year war. And you better frame it like that. When you frame things freak out game on us that if we don't act right, oh, they're going to really take the gloves off. Oh, you don't really want to see us get down on you. You've already, fam, let me tell you something. They've thrown everything they can at us. They've already done it. There's nothing else new for them to do. Do y'all understand that? This is why I'm fearless with these white supremacists. Family, they've done everything they can do. They've done it. And they're still doing it. Even if they use their judicial system, then that's their strength right there. You understand? Their strength is the judicial system, their institutions. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? They always act like, oh, if we don't act right, they're gonna go vigilante on us. Oh, they'll just be slaughtering us in the streets and all that. Family, let me tell you something. They ain't gonna go there. They'll never go there. Do you understand that? They're not gonna go vigilante on us. Do y'all understand that? They sell these wolf tickets about an upcoming race war. It's performative. See, they love the aesthetics of being renegades and this family of an ultimate showdown. That's a psychological tactic. That they want to put us in a state of perpetual anxiety. They like to project the image of strength so they can mask their vulnerability. They're very vulnerable. They don't want to let you know that. Listen, family, for the white supremacists, their only secret weapon is the legal system. Do you understand that? Drive that in your head, family. Their only secret weapon is the damn legal system. Without that, they're. Do you understand that? They want to hide that their power doesn't come from superior physicality. It doesn't come from tactical brilliance, doesn't even come from bravery. Their absolute sole source of strength is systemic backing, the institutions backing them, the badge, the courtroom, the judges, and the legal parameters. Those are their weapons. That's it. You understand? They are entirely dependent on a legal apparatus that gives them the benefit of the doubt. You understand? Just like with Chud the Builder. All right, now we're going to go back to him. Chud the Builder was running around here trying to act like an internet vigilante, running around yelling the N-word and all that, acting like some kind of rogue, tough guy. You talk a heavy game, but remember, the minute brothers, he went over in the trenches and somebody called him slipping, he ran to the phone to call the police. Oh God, I'm being threatened. It's a bunch of blacks. Oh God, help me, please. He ran. That's when anytime he got pressed, his punk ass ran to the police. You understand? Just like that Jake Lang always running around. He's clicked in with the police. He'll get out here yelling and all that stuff, but he's clicked in with the police. They don't want nothing.
It's in the app.
Not for real, for real.
That good dinner, man. Salute. So
you understand? Because if they start going vigilante, if you go vigilante and just start doing shit and start recklessly trying to pew people or whatever, now you're stepping outside of legal protection. Now the law can't protect your ass. Now that ass is ours. You understand what I'm saying? The minute you do that, you start indiscriminately trying to pew people, That ass is mine. Now you can't hide behind nothing. Just like that white supremacist down there in Georgia a few days ago was calling a black family the N-word and then went and got some body armor and an AK or whatever, and then came back and tried to shoot up the block. A brother who was a Marine started lighting his ass up, started pew-pewing back at him. You understand? Yeah, if they try to go vigilante, now we're going to have a level playing field. Yeah? Going toe-to-toe with us without tipping the scales, that terrifies them. We've survived centuries of systemic oppression, economic disenfranchisement, violence. So we have a level of resilience. We have situational awareness. We have adaptability. That can't be replicated by people who spent their entire lives being coddled by society. They don't want it. They don't want to hit them streets with us. I promise you they don't. We showed them out here in LA what it was. They weren't ready. They were begging the National Guard. You understand? I like to. People always say I brag about LA and the gang setups and all that. I'm not trying to glorify anything, but again, look how LA is set up with the gangs out here. The thing with the gangs out here, what gives it its power when it comes to fighting an oppressive system, and I'm using the LA riots for an example. All the gangs got together. You see, in LA during the riots, there was an immediate damn truce. Where my LA people? Y'all know what it was? Out here, there was immediate truce. Everybody said, hey, we're going to put down our differences and let's go get them. And everybody got on code and nobody knew who to target. There was not one organization to target because the gangs are set up in LA in different sets, which makes it a unique situation. Most gangs around the country, there's like a leader. It's like one gang. They might have different, people in the gang hierarchy, but it's usually a hierarchical setup in the gang. There's a head of it and certain intermediaries and shit like that. LA gangs are not like that. All the gangs are decentralized, but they're under like the brand of blood, brand of Crip. So that makes them uniquely, actually, very militaristically powerful. If some shit go down, everybody can start getting on code and just start hitting here, hitting there, and nobody knows who to target because it's not centralized. So you don't know where the shit is coming from. You understand? So that's why the uprising out here was very effective, gave the city $1 billion bill. Yeah. It was very, very interesting. Stampy, what's that, Stampy? Give me, Stampy, what's going on, Stampy? You're giving the thumbs down. What's wrong, Stampy?
All your gangs are failures. The FBA community is a failure. The FBA community.
Okay, sir, you sound like you have a lisp, sir. Where are you from? And if we're a failure, how you come over here and you from a failed homeland?
You only survive because of white people.
Sir, you come from a failed homeland. That's why you're over here.
You were in chains 200 years ago.
Sir, you had to chain up some bushmeat and put it in a suitcase and come over here, sir. You're not successful in your homeland. You're a failure. You're projecting.
You can't read. You couldn't read then.
Yes, we can.
You're the most illiterate in the country right now.
Sir, you don't even have an education system in your country. You have a collapsed economy.
You have an education system and you're failing.
You have a collapsed economy. You're over here with us, sir.
Over here with you? Who wants to live around you? The property values are low around you.
You have zero property value in your homeland. There's zero property. That's why you're here, right?
No.
Yes, it is. You ain't in your failed homeland. You're over here with us. You're
over here.
What we got to do is any racist bigot to tell me about people was enslaved and all of that shit. We got to tell the truth. These poor peasants own nothing, was mistreated. They don't know their history. They've been lied to. They have no idea where they came from. They're a bunch of Cabbage Patch Kids. There was a bunch of orphans. They have no idea who their ancestors were. They are making up shit, talking about their ancestors came from here, or anywhere. They're misguided by the same people who've been destroying records and trying to erase historical documents. We got to stop letting these people act like their ancestors living half the hog. Their ancestors was peasants, and historically they've been in chains. The Arabs had access to their women, treat them like shit. Hey, it's a merry-go-round. Everybody's been at the bottom at one point in history, and a lot of our people at one point treated these people like nothing, but we lifted them up out of grunting. Me, caveman, you, Jane, woman. We taught them what herbs and spices was. We got to just tell the truth. They have no idea where they came from. They're a bunch of fucking Cabbage Patch Kids. They got to be properly put into perspective, bro.
With you.
You're our bitch. How'd that feel?
Who's over? You're
our bitch, sir. All right. You have to float over here, laying on your stomach on an inner tube, sir.
The only FBI.
No, you can't even get your bullshit out, sir. You're our bitch. All right. You sleep on the sofa. Or you a sofa bitch. You can't criticize the people who run the house. You are a sofa bitch. You're on the sofa.
The truth is, most black people live their days never praising any white people anywhere. Most white people live their days talking shit about black people, but praising us. All the New York Knicks fans, they praising the black man right now. You grateful for that championship? The NFL, they are praising black men. See, the real problem with these racists is when they sit in their house, their son idolize a black man who's strong and muscular. Their son walk around acting like they're some hip hop rapper. Their hate is nobody wants to be them. And the grown elite whites, they want to kiss the ass of the small hats. They have identity crisis. I hate niggers. I love Jordan. They are mentally unstable. That's a fact. Come on, just like the same racist essays say they hate us, but then they trying to be black hip-hop artists. Don't take these people serious. They have identity crisis.
Sofa, you're on an air mattress, sir. You're the air mattress of ethnicity.
You run it? You said you run it?
Yes, we do. We run it. We run the culture here. So that's why you were able to come here. Because you're...
Wait, so who lynched you 60 years ago? Who lynched you?
Well, who's lynching your bussy when you had to get a green card? Bussy got lynched to get that green card. Did a white man have to rummage in your boy hole in order for you to get that green card? Because that's where your list is coming from. You got a lisp, sir. You got a lisp.
Yeah, you can't answer that.
Yeah. You can't answer why you got a failed homeland and the white supremacists ran you out of that.
Huh? That's why Karmelo.
That's why what? That's why Karmelo what?
That's why Karmelo got 35.
Who lynched you? These people were the puppets for the Jews, bro. These people don't own they didn't own no slaves. These peasants, they had no money, they had no fucking slaves, bro. That's the small hats. They ran the plantations, they ran the motherfucking banks. We gotta tell the truth and put these people in their place. Your people didn't own shit, they were fucking peasants, bro. Your people were peasants. Come on, bro. Remember, the majority of these people tell us their ancestors came here for a better life. They didn't like their homeland. Their homeland was shit, hellhole shit countries. They was nothing. They had lice and all kind of infectious diseases. Come on, bro. I don't want to debate them because they're mentally ill. I just want to deal with them. That's it, bro. We're out a debate, man. Please, I can't debate mentally ill, unstable barbarian.
35.
Carmelo's gonna be fine. Carmelo's gonna be cool. That's why you got ran out of your homeland. You can't even go back to your homeland. Your homeland is a prison, sir. That's why
cool.
We saved.
Every time they bring up Karmelo, we got that under control. Like I say, I'm here at my house right now with a dude who brother owned the Wallace unit. Fuck them. They on the benches. They on the floor. They can't sit on benches in prison right now. We so pissed. They get their commissary. They had to make a new law in Texas prisons where you're going to get a free world case because we was extorting on them and beating them and doing them however we wanted. That's just a fact. They had to pay taxes in the Galveston County jail. They had to pay taxes in that jail. That's a fact. And then when they get out of line, they send them over there with gladiators like myself, and they damn sure sleeping on the floor and paying big. Mama can't protect you. These people got a horrible, miserable existence. The hell wrong with them? Keep bringing Karmelo up. That's 10 more of them gonna go hungry and get beat in that jail system. All the tough lies about the Texas prison system and the area, them all lies. They're nobody down here. Nobody.
Save you. We're saving our brother Karmelo. We had to save you.
What about Cyrus? You saved
We had to save you from your failed
make it
homeland,
easy
sir.
for me
Right?
to do my job.
You
and
saved
bring people
Cyrus?
together.
Oh, don't worry about him.
He's dead in the ground.
Right? And your bussy smells dead, sir, from niggas running up on you. Somebody said he's Somali. Okay, yeah, you Somali. Oh Lord, I can hear flies. Okay, yeah, you're Somali, sir. Yeah, you got a big forehead and red cross.
What about Trayvon? What happened to him?
What about your forehead and them flies in Somalia, sir?
Trayvon's dead.
Yeah, yeah. Half the people in your village are dead too, sir. How you feel about that? Yeah,
Bro,
people are dying of hunger. And
these white racist DEI hires just got the most humiliation in American history. Iran just kicked their ass and forced their great white hope and the Jews to submit. And that's the DEI officer. They fired all the black Jews. Cool. That was all on you. They can't blame. They was the cowards who was scared of the Iranians. Now, we would have been in charge. We would have dealt with that like we got to do. If it's worth dealing with. They ain't won a war since we decided to pick up arms. Thomas Daniel Sr., my great ancestor in the Civil War, and take heads, kick ass, and take names. They ain't won nothing since we decided to kick some ass. Pathetic failures. Humiliated. Come on, bro. They really want to talk about this? This the end of their power. The whole world know that. They being laughed at. They always try to feel stronger by doing something else. Let's do it. The world know these people is cowards and they joke and they scared of the Iranians. Don't tell me you're so strong. That was a myth to keep us in place.
In your village right now, how do you feel about that? And you fled from them. You over here eating off us.
You have nothing to eat from.
Yeah, no. You mean your village has...
You're a failed community.
Your village has nothing to eat from except Red Cross grain, sir. How do you feel about that? Come on, Stampy. Stop. Get that red...
How can I eat from Section 8? How can you eat from Section 8, the lowest community in the country?
Sir, the only thing that's a Section 8 is your forehead. It's shaped like the letter 8. Big on the top, and it's a big, small in the middle, and big on the bottom.
Your head, bro, you're so corny. You're 60 years old talking like that.
Yes, indeed. Your head is...
Remember, Lyndon Baines Johnson, their president, said, if you can get the lowest of the white man, the trailer park trash, to believe the nigger is the problem, he said this, then these damn phonies will never know it's us picking a pocket. Just blame the niggas. They got so much money being wiped out their accounts right now. The small hats have fleeced them. They don't know what to do. Blame the niggas. All of this bullshit they putting on TV is the same playbook they played when Jack Johnson knocked the white man out and we got the world title. The next day they came in the newspaper and say, nigga, don't think you can do it. You ain't Jack. And then they killed a lot of blacks all over the country, but some of our brothers fought back with guns and things of that nature. But the army helped overwhelm us. But the fact remains, you see this shit we seen on TV, a brother killed here, a brother killed there. That's what they do. But the small hats is using them. And we know this now. Using them as crash dummies, we gonna crash them then. While the small hats continue to take all of their money and laugh at them, goyim, and we just gonna deal with them. You see, they trapped.
Section 8.
Bro, you're 60 years old speaking like this, bro. It's not even like funny.
Sir, it's hilarious, sir. You know what else is 60 years old? Your mama's titties. And they look like it. They're very dry and ashy. All right? She got some...
You're making 5th grade jokes.
She got dry, ashy. Yeah, you trolling like a 4th grader, sir, with corn. You can't even talk right. You're lame trolling. Your trolling is lame. You came all the way over here from Somalia, and your trolling is lame. Your homeland is lame, and your trolling is lame, Stampy.
Yeah, at least I didn't come back from World War II and got segregated.
Sir, your homeland is a World War II. Your homeland is completely devastated. You had to come over here under us, sir, didn't you?
You've been enslaved the entire...
Sir, you're enslaved over there now. They're enslaving your people now.
They lynched you.
Yeah, they're lynching you now in your homeland.
Bro, they lynched a pregnant black...
Yeah, they're lynching you now. You're getting beaten and whooped on now in your homeland. That's why you're here, sir.
They lynched a pregnant black...
Yeah, sir. But we survived that. You didn't. You had to flee. You failed.
You didn't survive.
Yes, we did. We're here. You're not in your homeland. You're here with us.
And never forget, the FBA, us, we the only people that ever stand up to these racist bigots, like except Iranians and the Vietnam Cong. Nobody picks up arms against these people except us. We the ones that have to straighten their bitch ass out here. Our revolutionary freedom fighters, like the Black Panther Party for self-defense, put it on their butt. Well, they were forcing blacks into some type of peace agreement. Ain't nobody else did that. Our wealth, we stronger than any African nation. I said this, all that military shit, that shit is facade. They scared of the white man. That's just a fact, bro. I don't got no problem with them. We the only ones not. And even the Iranians was looking to us for strength. A lot of black people said, don't copy us. They looking to us for strength because they know who the powerful force on this planet is. Us. That's why they made the Lego videos praising us. Because they say, damn it, them the only ones that stood up to them. We right up on them. Them people worlds away from the white man talking shit. We right here up on them, dealing with them. Everybody know who the truth is.
You had to come over here to the survivors, sir. All right, you and your flies. Stampy. Are you mad because you failed your homeland and you had to come over here up under us?
You only survived because the white man wanted.
No, they didn't want us to survive. They tried to do us like you. They tried to make us a third world ethnic group, and we said no. That's why you had to come over here under us, Stampy, right?
They freed you and you starved.
We never starved, sir. We're not you. You don't see pictures of us with our stomachs out like you. You don't see us with skinny bodies, no ass, and big stomachs. That's you.
Directly after the Civil War, you starved.
We didn't. No, we didn't.
25% of your population died off.
No, we didn't, sir. That's why we're still here. We started after the Civil War. We were thriving. Yeah, we got sabotaged by the white supremacists. We were thriving, sir. You were starving. That's why you're here. You had to come over here with the survivors, sir. Is that why you're jealous of us? Are you jealous because you are a failed tether?
Who's jealous of some fat she-boon?
Well, unfortunately, you're too hungry to get fat. So you just the boon.
Well, she-boons are fat.
You can't get fat, sir. You can't get fat because there's nothing to eat in your homeland. You can't get fat off Monkey McNuggets, sir. I'm sorry. That's a you problem.
At least I don't.
Anyway, sir, yeah, now you corny and lame. Okay, and you another one who got a lisp. So we know what you had to do to get that green card. We know what you had to do to get a green card. But like I'm saying, I was talking about the white supremacists, and I guess he don't like us talking about white zaddy and how we're not afraid of these white supremacists talking about what they're going to do. They always try to present themselves as survivalist, like they are going to go against the government and all that and hit the streets. And look, no, they're not. These people love presenting themselves as some kind of Rambo, anti-government. Family, do y'all know how much of a con game that is? When these cats run around here trying to act like they're anti-government, these people are completely dependent on the government. They don't hate the government. They hate the idea when the government serves everybody equally. So their whole rebellion nonsense, that's conditional. They start talking that anti-government talk when they feel like the state is not acting as their exclusive personal enforcement arm. See, the minute the system tries to create
these people have never rose up against no fucking government in their damn life. It was only us. They've never shouted out with no government. None of that shit. Anytime the government deal with them, like Waco, they talk shit. The farmer situation where I forgot those farmers' name, those white farmers act like they didn't want to give up their land. They tried to make that a rally cry. White racist militias was coming from all over to go to that one certain place. When the government swooped in and took those bastards to jail, they stood down because they some phonies. They just be talking shit. These people get their ass kicked wherever they fucking go around the world. They lose every fucking war, blame the government. They're never gonna do shit. Now they just talking points. You gotta know historically they ain't never rose up against no fucking government. When they did, it was a civil war, and we got the guns like my ancestor Thomas Daniel, and we straightened their ass out. Took scalps, kicked their ass. These is Cabbage Patch Kids, bro. They don't know no history. They need to shut the fuck up. But keep saying all this shit, and them racist bastards in prisons, especially Texas prisons, they're gonna pay for it. They better keep their loved ones out of prison. Them brothers very pissed off right now, and they need some money.
Ounce of equality, they start hollering about some damn tyranny.
And I'm gonna keep
low. Well, they don't want to dismantle the state. They want to ensure the state keeps their weapons pointed at black people and not them. Just like those J6ers out there in January 6th. Yeah, they're trying to cosplay like they're hardcore revolutionaries and anti-government insurgents storming the building in tactical gear and all of that. But what was the underlying reality? They were acting on behalf of the damn president. You understand? Their whole exit strategy relied on them getting executive pardons. You cannot be anti-government, an anti-government rebel, when you're literally begging the head of the government to bail your ass out, which is what he did. That wasn't a revolution. That was a goddamn state-sponsored temper tantrum. You understand? These people don't want it. And remember, during that J6 insurrection, you had some of the cops in on it and the whole shebang. And what happened? Who had to put belt to ass? A black cop, Michael Byrd, had to put some of them down. That's why they were mad at him. A black man had to come through and put belt to ass on some of them. They've been mad to this day. They can't do anything about it. You see, this is why I say they ain't really trying to hit the streets like that.
In the Capitol.
Because now, then we have the green light to do what we need to do to shut that shit down. They're mad at Michael Byrd to this day. He didn't do anything wrong. He did everything he was supposed to do. They wanted to try to see if he can get prosecuted. You can't prosecute him. Y'all were breaking the law, and the brother stepped in and got some law and order. You see? That's what I'm telling you. They don't want to go hit the streets. Oh, they don't want to hit the streets now. Oh, no, they don't. They don't want to go vigilante. But yeah, all of that off the grid cosplay, yeah, they love to buy all the tactical gear and stockpile on all this shit and talk about living off the land like they're rugged frontiersmen. That's fantasy. That's a weekend hobby with these guys. The minute a power grid go down for real, their supply chain take a hit, they're going to be the first ones demanding the government come in and fix it. They ain't got no communal survival skills that we've had to develop. They ain't got that. Yeah, they start talking that don't tread on me to back the blue at the drop of a hat. Yeah. See, they want a weak, hands-off government when it comes to regulating their behavior and their businesses and their access to weapons. But they demand a heavily militarized, hyper-aggressive government when it comes to policing us. You see, they view the state's monopoly on violence as their exclusive property to be deployed against us. You understand? Just like this, they run around here with all these stand your ground laws. Remember, they pride themselves on stand your ground until it's us. Now, we got a kid getting 35 years for standing his ground against white supremacist terrorism. You understand? So yeah, a lot of their fake rebellion, it's a psychological projection. They try to pretend to be some oppressed rebels fighting a tyrannical deep state. No, they try to steal the narrative of actual marginalized groups. That's a psychological trick that allows them to justify their aggression and their hoarding of resources. And they still try to maintain all the systemic projections and protections of the dominant class. See, they want to play the victim while they hold all the cards. So they love this romanticized myth of a lone wolf taking on the system. But their movements only functions when the state looks the other way. You understand? They get subsidized white privilege. They ain't giving that up. That's their only strength. White privilege from the institutions. That's it. They ain't trying to step away from that. You know, when they get out here and do what they do, there's an unspoken understanding that the local sheriff, the district attorney, and the judge will give them a pass. So they're not fighting the system at all. They're the system's unacknowledged foot soldiers doing what they do is the dirty work that the state can't legally do on paper. So do not be fooled by these people. All right? They don't want it. Not on a street level. Ask them people down in Montgomery. All right? Remember what happened in Montgomery? A group of white supremacists tried to jump on a brother, and they made two tactical mistakes. Number one, you jump on somebody, now the law can't help you. So now, and you're doing it when everybody's filming, and there's multiple of you jumping on a brother, and everybody's filming it. There's dozens of witnesses. So now, legally, you are in the wrong, and there's no mistake about it. Way too many witnesses. That's rule number one where you messed up. Number two, you did it by a riverfront where the cops can't come in and save your ass. That's why it was belt to ass that day. That's why they got stomped on all up and down that pier. Understand? They don't want it. Let's get Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, hop on in, sir. Mr. Anderson, hop on in. Oh, he left. Mr. Anderson left. All right. I wanted to talk to Mr. Anderson, but he left. All right. Let me see who else we got. Let's get, raise your hand. Y'all raise your hand if y'all ready to get on. Let's get Bruce. Let's get Bruce in the building. Let's get, let me see, Geechee, man. All right, Bruce, what's up, Bruce? Hop on, man. Or Geechee.
Good evening, Mr. Nishi, or good morning. I wanted to say thank you, brother. You got them white supremacists like scared, brother. I just was in a room recently where they said you were the single most powerful voice in the black movement right now. They're scared, brother. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Yeah. I say fortunately or unfortunately, that's true. And they know this. Unfortunately, because I don't even like the responsibility of it. I am right now the most influential black person in the United States. Unfortunately. I say that unfortunately, or it could be fortunately. I don't really want it, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, I am very influential. I am the most influential black person in the United States. Ain't that right, Stamp? Well, Bruce, Bruce, hop on, Bruce. And Bruce it sound like that Stampy. That's one of Stampy's accounts. Stampy, is that correct? Is that a correct assessment, Stampy?
You run a failed museum. How are you the most successful black person?
I said most influential. And how is it failed?
But you run a failed museum.
How is it a failed museum, sir?
And you only open 3 days out of the week, bro.
Yeah, because that's when your mama can come up there and model. When we have Bushmeat Day, she can only come up there for a couple of days. We have people come up there and do art, and she's the bushmeat model. So she takes off her robe and shows them dilapidated titties. So we draw Picasso images of your mom's tits. Right? Come on, Stampy. You're too easy. All right. All right. Yes, indeed. Yeah, our museum is way better than your museum in your homeland because y'all ain't got nothing to display. You don't really have a culture. What you gonna have, like some calcified bushmeat in your museum? You ain't got nothing in it. That's what bothers you, Tethers. Our museum is popping. It's always packed. And your museum basically has a grain of Red Cross rice in there. And people fighting over it. I mean, y'all ain't got nothing. I would be mad too. Shit. All right, let me see. Who is this? Tusky Queen. Let's get Tusky Queen in here. Tusky Queen.
Hey, Tariq, how are you doing?
I'm good, Tusky. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to give you your props. My family and I have been following you for years. We're crazy about you, and I'd like to say your work ethic You know what I'm saying? I know your kids are very proud of you because you give them great examples to follow. I wanted to say, Jake Lang, he's been arrested in Texas for terroristic threats. So they're holding him on $1 million bond
Heard that.
in Texas. Also, I saw that the notice of appeal had been filed on Karmelo's behalf.
Yeah.
And they also pulled his fundraiser. So I was wondering, are there different ways that people can now contribute since they've pulled that? And I've seen people were trying. I think they had tried to start one on GoFundMe, and it raised like $700 and something, and that was pulled also. So I was just wondering, how can we continue to help Karmelo's family?
Yeah, we're looking into that because we want to see what the game plan is for them and any new lawyers. So we're listing for them to see what they plan on doing as far as representation, because they got to get new lawyers. That last lawyer that they had, that ain't it. That ain't it. So yeah, we want to make sure whatever legal funds they're getting, they're gonna have to get some new representation. That dude was horrible. And again, he seemed like he was deliberately throwing the case. I don't believe anybody who's been practicing law for any level of time would make the mistakes that man made by accident. Sitting up there just letting folks get on the stand and say any damn thing, and you ain't objecting to nothing. You ain't cross-examining nothing. These people got like 20-something witnesses, and you bring on 3. You ain't bringing on no expert, just nothing. This dude wasn't even trying, man. And I don't think that was an accident. Yeah. Come on now. Let me see. The Black Receipt. Let's get the Black Receipt up here. The Black Receipt. Hop on in, brother. The Black Receipt. Hop on in.
What's going on, OG? How you doing?
How you doing, brother? You good?
I'm blessed. I'm chilling. Oh, we gotta remember that the lawyer was part of the Botham Jean case. And you see how out cold they was. They got the hugging the white lady, talking about they forgive her and stuff. So I believe he threw the case, you know what I'm saying, for the white people.
Yeah. It was just too raggedy the way he did it, man. Way too raggedy. Travis, what's up, brother Travis?
Hey, do you remember when the dad were talking about that his friend was the one that chased him? The teacher caught him. He ran into the teacher. The dude Eddie.
No, I don't remember that part.
When they had the interview, the dad said Karmelo ran into a teacher, and she had to stop the other people from chasing him, and the dude that was chasing him was Eddie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I remember that part. Yeah, so yeah, Eddie.
Yeah, that meant Eddie on some sneaky, dirty shit, man.
Man, this Eddie dude, I'm like, how come this Eddie dude wasn't really picked apart on the damn stand, man? Thank you, brother. That Eddie dude is something weird going on with this dude. Man, yeah, that Eddie dude could have been discredited. Man, dude, it's weird shit going on with that Eddie guy. Yeah. Eddie invited him over there to the tent. Everybody said Eddie invited him, and then Eddie just got on some funny style shit. And then act like he didn't know him like that, but then he knew him, but then you ain't saying that Eddie is Karmelo's girlfriend's cousin. Dude, that could have been picked apart. They really could have picked that apart. Jackson, what's up, man? Or Jason?
Yo, what's up, OG? How you, man?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Man, I'm chilling, man. Like with the, as far as like Karmelo go, man, that young boy was clearly railroaded.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was some bullshit. But here's the thing, though. Like, you got these bitch-ass niggas, they come in here trolling and shit.
Yep.
But just remember one thing, though. That boy's still breathing.
Yeah.
And as long as he's still breathing, we going to rally around him. We going to make sure he get the proper representation this time.
Mm-hmm.
We going to stand strong with him. And you bitch-ass niggas, y'all come in here talking crazy. Y'all would never come in the room with us in real life talking like that. Because y'all get tossed the up out of there. Tired of you hoe ass niggas coming in here, you know what I'm saying, with the chaos. Y'all don't fight for nothing. So y'all want to stop us from standing strong.
Yeah.
And it ain't gonna never happen.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Yes, indeed.
Respect, OG.
Yeah. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah.
Let's get brother Robbie Blue in the building. Robbie Blue in the building. Brother Robbie. I'm good, brother Rob. How you doing, man? Long time no.
Man, let me tell you, all of this madness that's going on almost makes you feel like you're in the twilight zone. I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing, and I like checking out your replays on YouTube. I just want to say this to the family. You know, Metcalf's father mentioned black fatigue, and he just really let his racism just spill out of his, drunk, decrepit mouth. But I looked at this graph and it made everything made sense. And I just want this to make everybody in the family feel good. If you look at the middle class from 1970 up to now, it's dwindling. See, these white supremacists are riding off of this high that they got from an inflated, boosted middle class, right? From the government, because they got turned up in 1929. So all of them are riding this high and they don't realize, or they're starting to feel, the middle class is shrinking. Now we have less than 1/2 of 1% of the wealth. So like if the plantation goes down, it really doesn't affect us. Run our reparations and we'll be great. But if they want to play dumb, if they want to deflect, how do you have black fatigue and you don't even live around black people? Y'all got to drive 200 miles before you come across like foundational black Americans. If they have a lot of money and they're upper middle class, they don't even live around us. And if they interact with us, they're interacting with like our teenagers that may work at fast food places or whatever. So this whole idea of a mythical black person that they're scared of and they're so fatigued, what they're fatigued from are the oligarchs like Elon and some of these other cats that plan on getting the middle class down to like 30%. That'll be the sweet spot. So time is ticking for them, and watch them then try to come to us and rally to us and try to come to our communities. All we got to do is stand tall, stay solid, and have each other's back, because there's no place for us to go but up. But for them, with their ill-gotten gains and all these tethers and everybody else that's trying to bet on, I guess, white supremacy, they got to understand white supremacy is expensive. They don't plan on paying for that. How many of them really have high IQ to get these tech jobs and to really put that fake IQ to rest? 68% of them don't have a college degree, but they sit here and claim that they got a high IQ and they're educated. They're middle class racist slackers that are just full of soy, hate, and steroids. And I land my plane.
Respect, man. Thank you so much, brother. Brother Robbie. Life with Kay.
Hey, Topic. Hey, family.
Hey, Kay.
So I just wanted to double back on what the guy that just spoke was saying. I don't know, like since this verdict came in, I'm sure a lot of you all have noticed, especially on X, the white tea people have been extremely angry. Like if you're so happy that he got you all got the verdict, he's doing his 35 years or whatever. Y'all supposed to be celebrating. Why are y'all in these comments trolling, making tons and tons of troll pages, and you're so angry and you're talking about bring, lynchings back and all of this type of extra stuff to try to insult us? You're bringing up, Cyrus and all this type of other things. But on top of that, I do want to add, family, we just need to keep this momentum up with Karmelo. Let's not sleep on this. Let's keep going because it's making them angry. And one thing about it is when people are angry, it's because they know that, something's going to turn around for this whole entire situation. It's not just this situation with Karmelo. It's something that's going to be opening for all of us as a collective. Everybody else have a good night, but thank you. That's all I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, the white supremacists, they think this is a victory for them, but what they've done, they've created a living political prisoner. You see, you didn't unalive. See, usually they're good with unaliving us, but now they've created a political prisoner who we can continue to rally behind. Let me tell you something. This is why I think they've been putting him in isolation out there in the jail out there in Texas. I talked about this last night because they talked about they had him in isolation. And no. It's not for his, quote, safety, because the brothers in jail, they're going to look out for him. Let's be very clear. The brothers in jail, they're going to look out for him. In fact, I think that's what the threat is, because if he goes to jail, everybody's going to galvanize, all the brothers will galvanize around protecting him. He will be a galvanizing force in the jail out there. That's a problem. You understand? Because they look, everybody knows this is political. And understand, street rules, the rules of the streets, man, you don't harm our best and brightest. He was our best and brightest. He's a smart kid, never gotten any trouble. The streets actually look out for people like that. So to have him in there, that's going to spark the anger of other people in there. They're going to want to see him protected and make sure that them Aryans and none of them essays get at him. You understand? Because if something happens to him, it's going to be all the way up, in and out of jail. You understand?
We already on it.
Let me get brother cousin Jerry in the building. Then I'm going to get brother Torin in the building. Cousin Jerry, what's happening?
We finna shock the world on this case.
What's going on,
Right,
Nate?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Cuzzo?
Doing pretty good, fam.
Yes. What's happening?
I've been sitting back kind of reflecting on the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And Flex, you were prophetic in a couple of things. The delineation in Atlanta.
Yes.
And in Dallas, the aim of Dallas was to get black people to spend money with each other.
Yes.
Now, these two trials have done something that they didn't intend to do. Like you said, the reason they got our brother in protective custody, the prisoners are already on code because he's not supposed to be there.
Right.
They're gonna make sure that he's safe when they put him in Gen Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the B part of that, they accidentally got some more of us that were off code on code.
Yep.
That's a fact.
And now the unintentional consequences that they also did with the child, with the boycott and ban, if we stand our ground and stand 10 toes down and run those people out of business, we've cut their immigration corridor out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And see, if we stand on our business in this, on both sides, we know the emotions are high on our side. Instead of being angry, continue to flip and alchemize and send Brother Karmelo good energy.
Yes.
And remember, these people are angry. They're going to try and come in and make us angry. So I'm advising everybody to put your chief petty hat on, because they've activated the petty of the entire black community when they challenged us not to come into the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So family, don't get upset. We see the play. When the tethers got out there, they couldn't even fake black. The one African just had to say, man, I'm African.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We've rendered them useless. They have nowhere to go.
Yep.
The white tea community will not accept them. And their president is actively working to get them out the country.
Mm-hmm.
So see, family, we've got to stand strong. Don't get discouraged, because two parts of the three is coming together. We're working together. We're on code. We're about to start spending money with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when they break bread on the reparations, then we already have us together.
Yes, indeed.
Family, I'm gonna drop down. Y'all continue to protect yourselves. When you with your family, when you out in groups, keep your eyes up and out. When you see us around, look out for us.
Mm-hmm.
I love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Back. All right, Brother Torin.
Good morning, Tariq. How you doing?
I'm good, Brother Torin. How you been, sir?
I've been good, just busy, man. Glad you're having this conversation because it's necessary.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think there's two things going on that we need to be aware of. There's been a lot of sort of like, I'm a special Negro with a lot of Black Americans that they've been able to lull themselves to sleep with. And I think this case has woken up a lot of Black people to realize that no matter what your economic status is, this country has a target on your back, especially if you're a Black male.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, we just saw that failed boycott that the NAACP tried to do, trying to make these young Black men in the South risk generational poverty, trying to stop them from going into the leagues and stuff. So my question is, the NAACP has a legal aid fund, and if you know the history of the NAACP, they used to send lawyers and top flight high powered lawyers into like the deep south to defend our brothers. Karmelo has an appeal coming up. What do you think about the idea that all these people who are wealthy and all these people who are connected, what do you think about them putting together a better quality legal team to maybe make his appeal go a little bit better?
There you go. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that. A lot of people have been asking, hey, where can we donate? Because a lot of the crowdfunding sites are being targeted by the white supremacists. People are talking about different celebrities like Cardi B and Boosie saying that they're going to donate and give. And we're going to see. So we're just trying to see what the family wants to do as far as representation. So we're just looking at everything closely and monitoring everything and seeing what direction we should go in. And it's a day by day thing. So yeah, I'm ready. I got some bands for whoever lawyer they're going to get. So we're keeping our eyes and ears open. Let me see. Let's get a couple of more people in here. Respect to everybody in here. Respect to everybody in here, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Najee, hop on in, sir. Brother Najee, hop on in. Unmute your microphone. And let's see, we got Marlon, Brother Marlon down here too. Marlon Mannion. All right, Najee. Get Marlon. Marlon, what's up, brother?
What's up with you, brother Flex? How you doing up there, player?
I'm good, man. What's going on with you, brother?
Hey, man, listen, I just called to speak to the family for a minute, man. First thing I just want to roast, man. I said, brother Karmelo, he didn't do anything wrong. He did everything correct, as he's supposed to.
Yep.
Okay? But see, they didn't try to jump him because, he was walking in the wrong tent or whatever. That Mexican broad was telling everybody how big his was. That's what it is. That's what it was, dog. And that lost their mind. And let me add this, brother Flex. The tellers calling in talking a bunch of trash, but there's no such thing as punking out because brother Karmelo displayed that.
Yep.
It wasn't any. Okay, that Nigerian down in Florida, remember? He was talking about the black sisters, talking about he'd rather lay with a dog before he lay with a black woman, and that white broad stabbed his ass to death.
Yep.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
The other one down there in Texas, he got into a middle of the fight with them two white boys, and they killed him. Remember, he was talking all that trash.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And there, I'll land my plane, brother. Thanks for having me up.
Thank you so much, brother. All right, Jimmy James.
What's going on, brother Tariq?
Hey, how you?
I'm great, man. Good morning to you. Good morning to the space, man. Real quick, a lot of these people starting to come around in lives and spaces and trying to, use this as a triggering moment for us. Like y'all been saying, I think we should stay focused. Don't pay them no mind. I like the way you clown him up here. And I'll just say this. I think a lot of them people involved with the railroading plus his attorney and all of that, a lot of these people that, his brother Hunter Metcalf, all these people should be held in contempt and be charged with obstruction of justice. And I think that some perjury charges need to come out because these people know that they withheld the truth from the court.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that should be brought, and put out there so these people can be exposed for all the lying they did, railroading that dude with 35 years. Appreciate it, Flex.
Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, man, very early, Frisco, Texas, that needs to become synonymous with racial injustice. That whole town, the family needs to rebrand that town. We have the power to rebrand Frisco, Texas. We need to make Frisco, Texas synonymous with racism, white supremacy, and non-justice. We have the power to do that. We make Frisco, Texas a dirty word, just like we made Simi Valley a dirty word. We made Forsyth County a dirty word. Rosewood became a dirty word for what they did to the people down there. You understand? You brand these places with what they've done. Yeah, you don't let them, they're not going to sit here and try to play like they're Mayberry. You sit up here and act like, oh, this is a great little suburban town. It's a great place for family. Y'all come on through. And then you railroad a kid who protected himself from a suspected white supremacist aggressor and then have a little secret trial where nobody can see what's happening. There's a gag order, you hide in video, and then y'all surface up out of there and throw 35 years at this kid. No. Your town is going to own that shit, you racist bastards. Fraudulent Frisco. All right? Frisco, Texas is the place where justice goes to die. There's no justice there. You're not going to try to have a squeaky, and they've been trying to clean that little place up to make it very desirable for tourism and investments. No, no, no. Wear what you did. You're going to have to wear it like a jacket. And nobody wants to invest in a place with a bad reputation. You understand? Nobody wants to invest in a town with a bad reputation. See, you guys can control that. We control the culture. We control what city and town is going to be popping, what's going to be reputable, what's going to be a stained area. You can control that. We need to put a stain and let that town wear what it did. You understand? Let them wear that. Wear it like a jacket. It's like Simi Valley out here. They never recovered from that Rodney King stain that was put on the city. Whenever you say the word Simi Valley, one thing comes up: racial injustice. We branded that city a place for racial degeneracy. That's why don't nobody really rock with Simi Valley like that no more. A lot of the businesses, they open up and close. People drive right through. Simi Valley is a very small little town. It's very small. And I'm right next to them. I'm in Chatsworth. So Simi Valley is like 15 minutes from me. You drive through that ditch and drive right out. You understand? Ain't nothing popping over there. All right. Let me see. Y'all raise your hands, ladies and gentlemen. Raise your hands. Let me see. Let's get Meadows. Let's get Brother Meadows in the building. Meadows in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Then we get Darren. Meadows. Mr. Meadows.
Yes, yes. What's up, OG?
Hey, man, how you doing, Meadows?
Man, I'm good, man. I was just thinking about what they were saying earlier with Democrats trying to get some of the young men to not go to college and stuff like that. They was real loud about wanting them to do that boycott, but been real quiet about these cases that surrounding these young men that got murdered and stuff like that.
Hey.
And that's the crazy part. I seen something with Jamel Hill was saying something about our young black men need to have some type of like self-control or something dealing with this type of case, because she was trying to talk down on Karmelo. So it's
Well,
just
shit, we
crazy to
don't
me. That's
go.
all I really had to say, OG.
You think, yeah, man, a lot of these Democrat chills, they're coming out now to try to get on the bandwagon, because the thing is, they're not going to get around that whole minority coalition
Fuck
thing
them. They
that
don't
we're
speak
seeing
for us.
don't
They need to
work.
stay inside and get off
This
the
is why the
sidewalk.
Democrats are quiet right now, because in this case, this Carmelo case, you had basically an all-white jury with some people of color sprinkled in, but still white though. You had some Asians, East Indians, and Hispanics in there. That's supposed to be the damn minority coalition. Also, you got this weird little dude, Eddie, who's a Hispanic dude, who threw Carmelo under the damn bus. You understand? So you coming around us talking about a minority coalition at this point? The Democrats know your name is mud coming around us with that shit. That's the last thing we want to hear. Yeah, I saw something where last week they were talking about I guess they still got their marching orders from DNC. They up here talking about immigration. Boy, y'all ain't reading the damn room. Y'all know good and well we got no damn immigration, and you had some immigrants helping to throw our brother under the bus. Well, the Democrats are stuck right now. You understand? They are stuck. Darren, what's up, brother? Darren.
them know that every group on this earth understands that you're in a team relationship. Racism is a team sport. It came into existence as a team. You play as a team or you lose by default. And only with black folk do people get upset when black folks start talking about coming together and uniting and working together and cooperating together, buying from each other and supporting each other. You know why? For a simple reason that everybody understands. When you come together and unify, that signifies strength. And right now, everybody right now is pimping and hustling black folk. They've been pimping and hustling black folk for 400 or 500 years. We spend approximately 97% to 98% of all our money outside of our own community, as an example. And we don't practice group economics. We don't practice group politics. All that makes, when we spend 98% of all our money outside of our community, what that does, it makes the other groups enriched. They now are living off of two incomes. They live off of 100% of their money and 98% of our money.
Hello, Freedman family and our riders. That was the beautiful elder, Dr. Claude Anderson, always speaking truth to power. Now, y'all know I've been missing in action this week, but a lot has been going on for sure. And this week, honestly, guys, have just been a doozy. Between the Cyrus Belton verdict and the Karmelo Anthony case, I was just in my feelings. And these Asians and them folks are just doing too much. Now, as I've gotten older, I've just learned that I had better be quiet and process things first. Okay, that let's just put it that way. Because the things that I was thinking was not appropriate. All right. Now, guys, I tossed and turned for a few days after that Karmelo Anthony verdict. I really did. And this is on top of me just really wondering what the hell happened with Cyrus Belton. Now, speaking of other groups, these people, including them folks, are still mad at Black America for placing ourselves first. Imagine hating us and needing us at the same time, and then you big mad to the point where you crashing out on social media because we choose to direct our own dollars to ourselves. Now, while we should have been directed our dollars to ourselves, one of the main stories that has really been pushing this boycott of certain folks is the verdict of Cyrus Belton in South Carolina. Now, a little backstory for those who don't know, because truthfully, guys, there are still some people who don't know, and that happens. Now, on June 1st, 2026, Richland County, South Carolina, reached a verdict in the case of Chi Rick Chow. This was a man charged in October 2023 with the unaliving death of 14-year-old Cyrus Belton. Now, the jury returned a verdict of not guilty on the unaliving charge for the Asian man who actually was found to have chased Cyrus out his shoes and pow-powed him in the back, resulting in his death, unfortunately. Now, of course, the Black community was not happy, and all across TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and live streams, many Black Americans expressed their anger and frustration over the outcome. And a growing number of people began to talk about boycotting Asian-owned businesses, which is no more than right. Now, guys, for me, it's more than just the Asian community and Cyrus Belton. It's about the disrespect and the ungratefulness. Why should we give our money to people who don't appreciate what we've done for them and who take advantage of us? Now, the Asian community is clearly not happy. You have some who are already apologizing because they don't want to lose access to that $1 trillion spending power. Then you have others who are absolutely furious. And in the process, they're letting their real feelings come out. Now, y'all, before we get into the foolishness, please be sure to like this video and help us out in the algorithm. Guys, please be sure to check out the African Diaspora News Channel app. As you can see in some of my videos, I have to stop and come up with other words. We're on another person's platform. On the app, we don't have to do that, guys. So please be sure to check us out and help out the new Black media. Okay, let's get into it.
Look, I wasn't going to talk about the Rick Chow situation, but as an Asian American, I have to talk about this. Black people are calling for other Black people to boycott all Asian businesses. Are you kidding me? So the actions of one individual represents the entire race, huh? We should punish the entire fucking race because of one person. I'm just gonna call it what it is. This is straight up racism. Asians are a minority in this country, even more so than Black people. Once one Asian person steps out of line, the entire race gets hated on. Remember COVID? Remember China virus, Kung flu virus, the whole 150% increase in Asian hate crimes, and the whole Stop Asian Hate movement which conveniently was stopped because of who they found out were the perpetrators. Chinese is different than Japanese, is different from Korean, is different from Vietnamese. There are over 2 billion people in Asia. They're all fucking different. We are not a monolith. As Asians in America, we are only tolerated. They like our culture, they like our food, they like our music, they like what we make for them, but they don't really like the people. I mean, can any of you even name 5 famous, fully Asian American celebrities?
Now, first of all, the last thing he need to be doing is whining about anybody boycotting them if they got a whole culture that boycotts everybody else. You know, well, it's only one life. You guys are worse. That's kind of what I hear when I see how angry and whiny some of these people are that Black Americans are deciding to no longer patronize certain businesses. So pretty much, if FBA decides not to spend their money with you because they're tired of you mistreating and brutalizing their people, and they realize they don't need you, as well as a Black child, again, losing his life, and people are uncomfortable with that, it's hate when they don't want to rock with you like that no more. And this right here is the response we get. He got a lot of air in his chest for somebody whose community depends heavily on the Black community for generational wealth. See, 22 million of them wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for FBA fighting for civil rights. And without the 14th Amendment for them to anchor their kids here. That was originally for American slaves. I mean, I'm confused at the amount of smoke we getting because you'd have thought that we dropped Agent Orange on them. We bombed their home countries or treated them the way they constantly accuse us of treating them. See, this is the vibe I'm getting, and that should not be the vibe I'm getting from the communities that depend heavily on Black Americans' $1 trillion spending power. See, it's time to enforce some respect around here. See, it's not our job to make these people like us or show them we good people, but we can enforce respect by removing their money. And you know what? I don't want to hear anything about they're not all bad. Or how can you make a whole community suffer when not everybody's the same? I don't care anything about that argument because that standard only seems to apply when it comes to FBA. I already know it's not all Asians, but it's enough of y'all crashing out over our money that we don't have to spend with you in the first place. I'm not about to sit around here sorting through who's good and who's bad. All I know is that many of you seem far more concerned about Black Americans' spending power than Black Americans themselves. And while he's sitting his rump up here talking about how Asians are not a monolith, neither are we. But that didn't stop all these Asian organizations, okay, from coming together to protect their people in their community when Black Americans felt they had been wronged. See, when Akai Gurley was unalive, organizations came to Peter Liang's rescue. Little things like that. They came together to support what they believe was in their community's interest, but it's wrong for us to do it. So spare me with the whole we're not a monolith argument. Neither are we. See, this right here is why I'm all about delineation, not fooling with these people. It's the audacity for me, the level of entitlement to think that you can dictate how someone else, particularly FBA, decides to spend their money. See, there is still a mindset of ownership that come with not only them folks, but a lot of them groups who choose to identify with them folks. We're expected to rally in the streets for everybody else's causes, vote a certain way, get done wrong, and expected to spend our money with these same people who crap on us. And if we don't do those things, apparently we're racist or we're not a person of color ally, as if anything we've ever done in this country hasn't helped lay the groundwork for everyone else to come here. So many of these people have done made so many TikToks and videos across social media talking about how unruly we are, no class, no decorum. It's cool if we boycott because you are tired of us stealing. Okay, cool. We're going to take a step back. We don't want to fight. We don't want a race war at all. We just want peace and unity within our own community. And you know what? since you don't care and you're not that bothered, we're going to focus on that. Y'all wanted us gone so desperately, so we're going to give that to you. If your community truly believes FBA are so terrible and violent and problematic or so hateful, then there's no reason for your businesses to be planted in Black neighborhoods and dependent on Black dollars to survive. Because you know what? You don't see Black businesses all throughout Asian communities. So there's really nothing for you to boycott on our end. And I had to say that because I keep hearing people talk about now Asians are talking about boycotting us. Okay, cool. Y'all always have. You don't need us so much, and you're punishing us and daring us to boycott you. Why are some of your people so angry at the idea that FBA are redirecting our dollars? That's the real question. Why is it such a problem when FBA discuss where we should and want to spend our money? Notice Black Americans are not the ones online melting down, cursing people out, using stereotypes, and panicking over this conversation. It's the other way around. I mean, these people keep whining about FBA talking about literally moving their money, but they refuse to acknowledge a thing about why Black Americans are redirecting the doggone dollars in the first place. FBA can support who they want. There's no law that says we have to spend our dollars with anyone. We have the right, as well as everyone else, to decide where our money goes. See what Dr. Claude Anderson was saying now? And what is this whole Black Americans are somehow using Asian culture? What culture are we copying? Black Americans are not building our identity around no doggone Asian hairstyles, culture, music, or anything else. FBA are copied globally and are the ones that are the most imitated in the world. Black hairstyles, our slang, our fashion, our music, our dance, even your people are copying. I mean, it's really giving delusion.
But I'm just saying, this is a touchy subject. I know, bro. No. Hip hop is Black culture, nigga. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You see a Chinese man, right? You see a Chinese man, but when you speak, no. You need to listen. When you speak, the way you dress, your mannerisms and everything, that's a fucking Black man coming out of you, bro. Nothing about you is Chinese but the way you look, nigga. That's Black culture. Fuck is you talking about? What's the definition? What are you talking about? What is the definition? Ain't nothing about you Chinese but the way you look, nigga. Everything about you is me. Everything about you is me, bro. What? And you ain't taking accountability. What I'm just saying is we have respect for everybody else's culture and know our rightful place and give respect. We let y'all niggas in and give y'all comfortability. Y'all motherfuckers take advantage. And now you claim it.
Bottom line, man, these people are just mad that we're taking our money and using it in our own community. And many are seeing and are tired of pretending there's some kind of coalition. There never was. A lot of Black Americans bought into this people of color or minority coalition narrative, and they see it's been one-sided for a very long time. I mean, think about it. What exactly have Black Americans really received back from this arrangement besides being told to keep spending with others, take our behind on the front line to protect and keep y'all here? Our businesses are not flourishing in your neighborhoods. We're not putting our children through college, building generational wealth off of you. But you got businesses in our communities. You're making money from Black consumers. You're paying your business loans and mortgages from Black dollars and building that generational wealth that we've been denied. Every group practices group economics. They protect their own self-interest. They circulate money amongst themselves. But the moment Black Americans discuss doing the same, then it's a problem. We get crash outs like this. And as far as us needing them, never. Not only are they in our neighborhoods, but FBA always had towns, schools, churches, business districts, farms, banks, and more under segregation from them folks with far fewer resources than people got today. Unfortunately, a lot of it has been destroyed with the generational wealth as well as integration. Many of our towns are sitting under lakes and highways and buildings. And notice, even though Black Americans were sabotaged, they didn't flee. See, if you work so hard, you would have worked hard in your doggone homeland. See, we were building culture and surviving America long before many immigrant groups established businesses even in our neighborhoods. Liquor stores, dry cleaning, nail shops, food businesses, and then some. We had all of that before you arrived. Hell, an FBA man gave America its own dry cleaning. We've been making moonshine. And let me share this with you. Many Asians learned how to fry chicken from Black people during the World War. You know, Cyrus Belton, he was unalived in Columbia, South Carolina. South Carolina is my home state. In Columbia alone, Black people had many, what we call then as numerous Black downtowns or Black business districts. Some people would refer to them as Black Wall Streets, but no. A lot of our ancestors back then only referred to 3 places at that time as Black Wall Streets. And we had a ton, I mean hundreds of Black business districts, or as some would say, Black downtowns. Let's do a few. Okay, because I'm confused as to why people are so delusional about who needs who. See, this is why you need to learn history and why also FBA should not allow many of these other people to be representing us. Let's start with Waverly in Columbia, by the way, because all of these will be in Columbia. Okay. Now, during the height of the Jim Crow segregation, Black Americans were legally and systematically barred from white-only commercial spaces. In Columbia, South Carolina, this enforced isolation gave rise to Waverly. Shout out to Waverly in Columbia. Okay. Waverly evolved from a residential suburb into a self-sustaining, vibrant Black business district along Hardin and Taylor Streets. Residents frequented Black-owned grocery stores, filled prescription at local Black pharmacies, and gathered at institutions like Hallman Barbershop. Okay. They also had the Good Samaritan Waverly Hospital that provided health care to Black people. Now, the Good Samaritan Waverly Hospital was founded by Black physicians who worked together to do it. However, this area went down, and the destruction of this thriving Black business district unfortunately began overnight, with integration destroying it as well. Baby, the 1,000th and 1,100 blocks of Washington Street in Columbia became a Black business district as well. Many also known of this as Black Downtown. During its prime, these just 2 blocks by us, okay, boasted Black-owned law firms, medical practices, pharmacies, theaters, restaurants. Please. They also had places like the North Carolina Mutual Insurance Company and the Black-owned Victory Savings Bank. All went well until integration here as well. What else did we supposedly copy? I hope you're not talking about K-pop, because that's 90s R&B. That's a knockoff. Stevie Wonder can see that. Your people run around copying our music and hairstyles. Also, you're talking about nails and how Black women won't be able to get nails and wigs and how we won't be able to do dry cleaners, all this foolishness. Let's be clear. Black women been making their own wigs and sewing their extensions. And nails, baby, that's FBA culture for sure. Hello, Miss Josephine Baker, anyone? She had them long, elaborate nails too. What about track star Florence Griffin? See, in the late 80s, her nails were fashionable. Made her a whole fashion icon. See, Miss Sha'Carri Richardson is inspired by her, and she said that her own self. See, I could go on for days. See, this kind of treatment we deal with, yet somehow they were able to get the hate crime bill passed, even when statistics clearly show who the real problem is with them. This is the type of treatment we don't want to deal with, and we don't have to. And we don't have to argue with you about it, because history clearly shows who's stronger. It currently shows you need us. Damn all that. Boycott. Spend with our own. Let them stay mad. It's not our responsibility to keep their businesses afloat. It's their responsibility. Now, they can lie to themselves all they want about history. We know the truth. That's why I always try to share something as much as possible, regardless of who like it and who don't. It's our job to take care of our businesses first. Don't let none of them make you feel bad about boycotting them. We should have been did that. We need to be focused on our own businesses, our own hospitals, our own institutions, our own towns, all again. So I ask guys again, what exactly did we gain by giving our dollars to anyone else? And I'm also going to ask this, where is the NAACP or the CBC and the other Black Democrats when it comes to discussing Cyrus Belton? They real quiet. These are the same people who've been pushing that people of color and Black and brown narrative, yet when situations like this happen, they're quiet as a church mouse. You see, they also probably embarrassed also because they pushed that doggone Stop the Asian Hate movement and worked along with Republicans to get a hate crime bill passed for these people who hate us. Meanwhile, the very people they expect to vote for them every election cycle and the same people they criticize when we don't vote for them or hold our vote, we've been enduring centuries of lynching in many forms, discrimination, and all kinds of mistreatment. Hell, they just started recently talking about Karmelo Anthony, and that's most likely because the case has begun to gain more attention from celebrities and larger platforms. See, as long as they can't capitalize on something politically, they rarely speak on it. Now, before we go, guys, I want to circle back around to something he said about being a minority and how he pretty much alluded to the fact that they've gone through so much and they've been persecuted in a country that many of them choose to come to. And yet many of them still choose to align themselves with the very people who dropped Agent Orange on them, bombed their countries, mocked their buck teeth, and much more. And since people want to point out how racist FBA are because we choose to redirect our dollars into our own community and no longer want to put up with their foolishness or them folks' foolishness, let's take a look at a few instances where their community, or shall I say his community, acted as a doggone monolith to protect individuals who harm Black Americans. Just real quick. One that's pretty common that we all know of is Miss Latasha Harlins, who was 15 years old when she was shot and unalived in 1991 by Soon Ja-doo, a Korean shop owner, after being falsely accused of stealing orange juice. Surveillance footage also showed Latasha was walking away when she was pow-powed in the back of her head. Doo was convicted of voluntary manslaughter, but received probation instead of doggone prison time. Another one that's very common that many people know is Akai Gurley. He was a 28-year-old Black man who was unalived in Brooklyn, New York in 2014 by Peter Liang, a Chinese-American police officer. Now, Liang fired his weapon in a dark public housing stairwell, and the bullet ricocheted before striking Gurley. Lord. Liang was convicted of manslaughter, though the conviction was later reduced to criminally negligent homicide, and he avoided prison time. Following the conviction, many members of the Asian community organized rallies and advocacy campaigns in support of Liang, arguing that he was being treated unfairly compared to other officers. Daniel Holtzclaw, a former Oklahoma City police officer convicted of indecently assaulting multiple Black women while on duty in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Prosecutors would argue that he specifically targeted vulnerable Black women because he believed they would not be believed. In 2015, a jury convicted him on 18 felony accounts, including indecently assaulting them, forcible oral sodomy, and sexual battery, and he was later sentenced to 263 years in prison. After his conviction, the Asian community came out with a lot of support. They organized campaigns, raised funds, and argued that he had been wrongly convicted, even as his victims and their families continued to seek justice from him. Oh, here's another one. In 2013, California's historic reparations debate exposed a major divide there as lawmakers continued sabotaging Black reparations for the descendants of American slavery. Many Asian and Latino voters also opposed the proposals, arguing they could not or should not bear the responsibility for harms they did not cause. I'm confused because since when you get to choose to come to a country and make your own rules? No, ma'am. You inherited the debt that this country had when you chose to come here. What about Chang and Ing Bunker, also known as the Bunker twins? You see, they settled in North Carolina in 1839 after touring internationally. They became U.S. citizens, married two of them folks' women, and operated a 650-acre plantation where they enslaved Black men, women, and children. The twins supported the Confederacy during the Civil War and lost their enslaved labor force after emancipation, as they should have. Let's do one more. Just one more, because this was just too good to leave off. This is Richard Aoki. Now, he is said to be a major ally to FBA because he is the one Japanese-American activist who actually supplied pow-pows and training to the Black Panther Party for self-defense in the 1960s. Well, after he unalived himself, and despite a public image known as a revolutionary leader, declassified files later revealed Aoki was a paid FBI informant throughout the 1960s, actually over 15 years to be exact. Anybody want to tell me this ally or no? Guys, thank you so much for rocking with me and listening to these videos.
Kofi, follow me